So last time, Alita, we really talked about the scientific method, right? And we talked about all of the different steps in this scientific method, and you went out, in your home and you created a scientific method, right?
Yes, so it's about the pillow, and I asked my grandpa and he said, wow, and it's correct.
Right, so you made an observation about the pillow. You asked yourself, why is this pillow this way, right? And then you made a hypothesis, which was like a guess, right? Without you actually knowing what happened. And then your experiment was that you went around and you asked people, right? You asked your mom and, just to kind of find out what happened, right?
Yeah, like I asked my mom if that day was windy and pretty cool. Well, very cool, and because it's very rainy, and the one next to my house there's a street. My house is over there, and the street is almost flooded. Almost. It's just
wow. Wow. Okay. Yeah, and so finally you made a conclusion, right? So a conclusion is like your answer, right?
Yeah.
So did you find that your conclusion, so your answer and your guess, were they the same?
Yes.
Yes. So you didn't have to go back and do all of this again, right?
Yeah.
All right. So today, Alita, we're just going to keep reading about all of these things that scientists do, okay? And all the steps that they do in their work. So let's see. Okay, so here we have 3 very important vocabulary words, okay? So the first one is observe, the second one is classify, and the third one is measure. So all of these words we have already seen at some point in our other lessons, okay? But let's kind of read through them just so we can remember. Okay, so
in our first science lesson.
All right, so inquiry skills. When you make observations, you use these skills. Observe. Use your sense to learn about an object or event. Classify. Place things that share properties together in groups. And the last one is measure. Find the size, distance, time, volume, area, mass, weight, or temperature for an object or an event.
What? I didn't know that, measure can be so many things, I just knew measure weight, measure how high you are,
Yeah, so measure can be very, very, you can measure a bunch of stuff, right? So we know, how do you measure temperature?
By a thermometer.
By a thermometer, right? You can weigh your weight by using what? A scale, right? So these area and mass are a little bit more complicated, and volume, so you don't really have to worry about those either. But we have talked about volume before, and we said that volume is how much space a liquid takes up, right? So I could take this coffee cup and say, what is the volume of this coffee?
Or what is the volume of this stuff?
But that doesn't have any liquid, right? Remember, there has to be. There you go. You can, and actually, well, maybe not. It really depends, but yeah. So the 2 things that you showed me, yes, those 2. If it has liquid, so for example, these 2 things, you can measure the volume in it, right? Because it has. Yeah.
Yep, this is definitely heavier and this is lighter.
Right. So instead of saying, because measuring water, for an example, is very different than measuring, how big this is. This little sticky note.
So it's just like this. The one is, so these and the one I just show you. So this is the one I show you, and this is the water. So because that water is liquid, liquid can go over like these because these are more like plastic. Liquid can do many things. Like a natural resource is liquid water, and like if you have a thing with holes and it's plastic, and liquid will just go through it.
Right, exactly. So you also really have to pay attention to the fact that liquid, since you said, for example, water, since it's liquid and it can go everywhere. What happens if I put my water into this cup?
So like this. If you have water in it, hold it, no problem. But if it's a paper, well, good choice. And the towel is also too.